Hi, and welcome to another Rescuing Your Health video. My name is Chris Capitura. I'm here with Dr. Sharif Ibrahim, and today's topic is all about hydration. We've got a lot of ground to cover on this episode. What we'll do is first, I want to talk, Sharif, a little bit about the cultural significance of hydration, and then, of course, the best way to hydrate.
The Western culture is not really in favor of hydration. If you go to the Mediterranean, for example, they serve a glass of water with each cup of tea or coffee or any alcoholic drink, which is not in the Western countries. And this is why most people in the Western countries are in a state of chronic dehydration. The best fluid for dehydration is just plain water. Why? Because if you drink alcohol and tea and coffee, these are all dehydrating. If you drink sugary fruits, juices, or fizzy drinks, these are also dehydrating. Why? Because the sugar content makes the body work hard to rid itself of excess sugar through urine. So they causes dehydration rather than hydration. So the best solution here is just plain water and at least 2 to 3 liters a day. And I think probably with this heat wave, we should really go beyond that, actually, more than 3 liters. And actually, we drink gallons of water.
That would be a lot of water consumption. For myself personally, I do 3.5 liters on a regular day. When I'm working out, I'll generally drink a bit more. And on days when I'm outside a lot, I'll just consume as much as I can. Just like you said, Sharif, with this heat that we're experiencing, you do want to consume even more water. Now, we're talking about water, and a lot of people will say, well, I drink tea or I drink coffee. A lot of people will come up to me after a seminar and say, does coffee count? Well, we know coffee can be a detriment to your hydration. It's a bit of a diuretic. Is that right?
Yes, it is definitely diuretics because I've got caffeine, and caffeine is a very well-known diuretics. Alcohol is a very bad diuretics as well. The very dangerous thing here, in a normal person, it could be no problem. But in somebody who suffers with something like heart disease or hypertension, it will be a problem. Why? When you are passing a lot of water through the urine or sweating and you're not putting adequate hydration, the blood becomes thick. And when the blood becomes thick, then it increases the risk for making clots. And that is dangerous because somebody with partially clogged arteries in the heart or in the brain, thick blood has the tendency for making clots, making them at greater risk of having a heart attack or a stroke.
I hear it on the news so many times that during a heat wave that people are dying. And I wasn't aware of that whole situation with stroke. And definitely, if you weren't listening closely, go back and listen to that section that Sharif just brought up, because that's absolutely critical. Now, let's go back to a topic that you and I have thrown around a lot, Sharif, which is hydrating in the morning. I'm always hydrating heavily first thing in the morning, getting a liter in myself way before 9 o'clock. And I know you've talked about a particular term regarding that. So can you discuss that a little bit?
I think it's very important to rehydrate a reasonable amount of water when you wake up in the morning. Why? Because there is something called insensible perspiration. That means the amount of water you lose while you are breathing, actually while you are asleep, and also when you are awake. This is equal something like 500 mils you lose in your breath. So you have to replace that. The best thing to do, and this is actually what I do myself, is I put 1 pint of water and I make it like hot water. And I put 1 teaspoon of lemon and 1 teaspoon of organic, very good quality apple cider vinegar. And I drink that in the first hour when I wake up in the morning. This is really very helpful because that is a good start for the day. Then, as this is actually your practice, actually, you divide the day into 2 halves and you do 1 liter in the first half of the day and another liter in the second half of the day. So this is at least you are doing 2.5 or 2.5 liters, which is not too bad. But I have noticed when you drink a big amount of water at the same time in one go, this is not very helpful. Why? Because too much water coming into the body and the circulation is going to stimulate the body to produce the diuretic hormone. Many people tell me when they come to the clinic, I just drink water and I go to the toilet immediately. And I said, how much do you drink? Oh, I drink a lot. That's the reason. It's because you have taken too much in one go. So please take a small amount at a time and just keep drinking all the day long until you finish the amount which you should do for the day.
A little earlier, I was talking about my hydration plan. It's quite simple. In the morning, when I get up, I drink hot water, as hot as I can bear, and I have a liter pretty quick. Then I have a second liter of water that gets me to about noon. In the afternoon, about 2 o'clock, I'll get into a third liter, and it's again hot. And then for the rest of the day, usually sometime in the early evening, have about another half a liter. Again, that's on a regular day. On a workout day, I'll have water beside me and just consume it as I'm working out. It generally adds to the total. And definitely on days when we're hiking or walking or outside, I'll drink more, but it's always at least 3.5 liters of water for myself. Now, one of the things people always say, well, I always have to go pee when I drink water. It's a matter of pacing yourself. Now, the next topic's a little bit controversial because there are a lot of people out there in the world who love these sports drinks. I personally don't consume them for many reasons, which I'm sure Sharif's going to get into the science and explain.
I think that they're not very good because of two reasons. One reason, they have got very high content of sugar, and that is going to make you more dehydrated, as I explained. And the other thing, this contains very high quantity of caffeine. Actually, some of these drinks contain more caffeine than a big coffee, and sometimes it will be hazardous because if somebody has got an element of heart disease or cardiovascular disease and they're taking too much caffeine and they are exercising, that is really very risky because that makes the heart work hard and it might not be suitable for them. So I would advise people to avoid these, what is known as sports drink in general.
Well said, Sharif. When it comes down to sports drinks or energy drinks or any of those drinks that are made up of a cocktail of caffeine, and they're just not good for you. So just stay away from them completely. Now, for our last little bit here, let's talk just a bit about drinking cold water around meals.
I think this is very important because if you take cold water, for example, that is going to make the stomach shrink. And when that happens, the stomach shrink as one unit, and that is going to compress the blood vessels supplying the stomach, and it reduces the blood supply. And this is not very good because if you haven't got enough blood supply, that is going to affect your ability to digest. So particularly if you're drinking before meal, that is not going to be very helpful because you're not going to have enough digestive enzymes to help you digest your food.
Hey, that's a tip at a couple of levels. Hydration tip, nutrition tip, and weight loss tip. So you got 3 in 1 there, Sharif. That's kind of neat. Well, that's it for today's video. Thanks for tuning in. Keep coming back. We have a lot more videos coming up. And more importantly, very soon we're going to be announcing our Rescuing Your Health program. That's going to be both a live event and some online content. Thanks. Take care. We'll talk to you again soon.